Okay, well, good morning, everybody. I hope you guys are having a good, great week. It's Friday. Is it Friday? It's Friday. We're going to talk a little bit about stress-reduced fat loss. I'm going to get right into it because a lot of people ask and they kind of say, well, you know what? A lot of people say, well, what exactly is, this whole stress-reduced fat loss thing you guys keep talking about? What does it mean? How do I do this? How do you guys do it? Why do you do it? And how does it help me? We started really looking at stress-reduced fat loss because when you worked in the fitness industry and worked in fitness clubs, all of us found out that at some point, we had clients that wouldn't get results. They'd have great trainers, they'd have great nutritionists, and they'd, thousands of dollars in sessions, and still wouldn't get results, and some would. So we started looking at when we left those companies, we started saying, well, how can we fix some of these things and find out? And really what stress-reduced fat loss is you trying to find solutions to the different stresses in your life. And everyone right away goes, oh, I'm not stressed, I'm just going to tune out. I manage my stress fine. Stress doesn't have to be mental. A lot of times stress could be, and we're going to go through the different stresses, but stress could be cosmetic. Good morning, Karen. Stress could be cosmetic. It could be what you're putting on your skin. Stress could be a lack of good sleep. Okay, it could be those things. Stress could be foods you're eating. Okay, that are irritating your system, or they're not. They're just, they're just not doing what they need to. Hey, Tatiana. There's so many different things that stress could be. It could be an injury. It could be an injury that you have that is constantly plaguing you, which is causing stress. Everyone been injured before? Having an injury is probably one of the worst things for people that exercise or train. The stress that it raises in our mind, not being able to do what we need to do, even if we're fine with it, is huge. So finding out those different stresses, and it can be relationship, it can be emotional, it can be a lot of things. So for us, if in working on those things, if we can find solutions to the different stressors in someone's life, that's how we usually design their system. So I have a couple different things, and I had to write backwards for this to look proper for you guys. So this is actually, pretty good for me. So the first we're going to talk about is food. Food. Water. What are you using? This is not a Brita. This is called Zero Water. It's actually a much better filter than Brita. Filters out a lot more lead and different things in there. So food is important. And it isn't just like I said, hey, Jody. It isn't just about, as people would say, chicken and sweet potato. You know what I mean? It has to be about what are your goals. And our nutrition, we usually try to look at goal-based nutrition, meaning it's going to change. I said the rules are always going to change. If you're doing a cleanse, or you're cleaning out your intestines, or your adrenals are smashed and we're trying to bring them online, your food is going to be different. It has to be different. I think a lot of people want to have their food the same all the time. They want to have the same kind of food and just kind of go with it. And unfortunately, that's not how your body's going to excel and work. So if you do have issues with food sensitivities, you have to address them. If you do have, issues with the bathroom, you have to address it. When you're looking at your foods, do you have to have different colored vegetables? Ideally, we should for nutrient's sake. Do you want to change your meats and your protein? Do you want to even have meat? These are all things that are variables that you have to learn to play with. And I try not to do the absolutes. I have clients that eat very little protein and have clients that need to eat a lot, depending on where they are in the system and who they are. So that's very important. When it comes to your nutrition, if you're eating the same way all year long, chances are you may be missing a couple things. So I do as well. I always have to step back, refer to someone that I work with and say, geez, am I doing this right? Am I missing something? What am I missing here? What can I be adding in? Should I be putting in different kinds of smoothies? Should I be, trying more seaweeds because I need different sources? So we're really looking at different foods, and your water is priority. A lot of times myself, I've neglected water as something that's important. So we're looking at a good filter, because you change your water, you will change your life. You need water more than anything. And I think a lot of us, myself included, have just said, water. I drink it, it's fine. What do I know? Once you really start looking at what's in water and what can be in our water, that's something you want to focus on. Okay, exercise is next. So how do you exercise? When do you exercise? What kind of exercise? So things to look at. What are my goals? What am I trying to do? When am I changing my program? I usually say, try to change your program 4 to 6 weeks, 8 at the longest. After 8 weeks, unless you're on a very specific cycle of training, your body's going to plateau. It's going to have all kinds of different changes. So always look at stimulating your training. What are the variables you can use? You can use tempo, so you can change the tempo of your exercise. You can change your exercises. You can change the pairing of your exercises. You can also change, besides just the pairings, the rest periods and also the rest between days. A lot of times if you're in let's say a high stressful period, we're like, I'm going to take on a major workout. I'm going to go crazy. I need to just numb my mind. I'm just going to go train. And usually at some point down the road, you're going to break. So it's very important if you're in a higher stress period of your life, sometimes the best workout is actually reducing your training a little bit, which is hard to do. It's very hard for me to do. Thanks, dear. It's hard for me to do to reduce my training. I'm like a training maniac. So to back off is hard, but then if not, I just get injured. Or I burn out and I'm just feeling, sad at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So it's so important to really watch your kind of training. Do you need heavier weights? Do you need lighter weights? When do you need it and how long do you need it for? Are all things you should look at in your training. Okay, energy work. A lot of times people are like, what is that? What's that hokey pokey stuff? So a lot of times when it comes to energy work, that's when we actually work with the client. So it could be anything from acupressure. It could be anything. It could be Reiki. It could be meridian work. A lot of people are like, oh, I haven't really had a lot of that stuff. I don't know how I feel about it. You know what? I found energy medicine or energy work is a huge part of pushing someone's body to heal. Whether you want to try it and say, hey, you rub your hands, put them close together, and there's heat there. There's resistance for some people. Or you want to say, hey, I went to an acupuncturist, and he put a needle in my ankle, and I started crying, or I got a headache. What happened there? There's more to what we have in our body than what we truly believe from what we see on TV. Bart's asking, is Kundalini yoga good for me? Thank you very much, buddy. Thanks for that. That was funny. So energy work, I find for clients, it helps their system heal. Not just their physical body, but sometimes emotional, because there are emotional attachments a lot of times to the breakdown in our system. So when we treat clients, especially, I find athletes find this even faster. When we treat them, they heal. They move fast. They have a calmer mind. They feel better. So these are things that we put into our protocols. If someone needs it, sometimes that is what makes their body move forward. Because food and training sometimes can only go so far. Okay, therapy is next. So what about your body? What about if there are injuries? What about if there's imbalances? You can train all day long, but you know what? If your hips are off or you're just born a certain way, we're all born with certain tendencies and changes in our body. And sometimes it's not just a therapeutic massage which feels nice. Sometimes it is. A lot of times it's, you know what, you need to fix those issues. We're pushing, we're training, we're getting out of the car the same way every day. We turn out of bed the same way, put the same leg in our pants every day. So a lot of times you have to think, geez, I have a lot of recumbent and recurring issues that I have in my body that I just think are supposed to straighten themselves out. We drive, we turn, we do the same routes, we do the same mannerisms, we pick up with the fork the same way. All these things cause imbalances and issues. And a lot of times the therapy is what gives us the relief. And it isn't, once again, sometimes just a nice massage, although that is a good ability to lower cortisol. Sometimes fixing the issue and working with the body so it can perform better is what's needed. I know for me, every third week at the latest, I need to have some kind of therapy done. Osteopathology, chiropractic, RMT, something, so that my system can not build up those imbalances. Okay, fascia work, FST, which is huge for us. Those are all things that I find people should have in their and we put in their daily practice or their weekly or their monthly practice to keep their body going. And sometimes they don't do it for a while, but then for a while they will do it for a while. And that's important. Find someone that really addresses what works for you. I'm never here to say that one treatment style is the best. I would say depending on what your issue is, it's very important to find the therapy that works for you. And I have no problem bouncing between different therapists when I have a different issue to get the result that I want. And you shouldn't either. So that's the next part, is therapy. A lot of people think, Ken, don't you need mental therapy? Yes, I do need that sometimes as well. Behavioral, and this is a huge component. Behavioral goes a lot of stuff. So, behavioral goes on to even things like, I worked with, we're going to be working with a little bit with a lovely lady called Donna, and she has a great line of products, huhnaturals.ca. We're going to be talking about actually her on Monday, some of her products. These are some of her essential oils here that we use. My wife got me a little infuser I can use at work because, sometimes you just need to bring that stress level down. And this is a behavioral thing I can do. Sometimes I'm congested at night, so I'll use this. Instead of using protocols, supplements, I'll actually use some of this. I'll use behavioral, I'll use these things. And this will actually help me sleep. It'll help me wind down. It'll help me get what I need to. If I'm stressed at work, I'll use this. So we'll be talking more about this on Monday, but that's a behavioral thing that you can do. Essential oils are a huge part of what will be going on in the future with a lot of people, whether using them topically or olfactory-wise. It's a great way to do that. Journaling. Journaling has been huge for me for the last 7 years. And writing things down is a great way to help your mind release stress. And I found that out in university when I was actually doing my neuroscience undergrad, is that if the brain has stresses and you don't write it down, a lot of times it'll try to solve those stresses all night long. So it's going to keep waking you up and your sleep will be disrupted. Even if you knock out like you say you do, you're still not sleeping great. So I find writing this down, whether it's with my kids, with myself, or with clients, this is actually a way that clients actually feel better. When they're looking at studies, they're actually saying journaling is a form of therapy they're giving people to lower blood pressure, to lower cortisol, to reduce stress in the mind, to increase focus. And indirectly, guys, guess what? If your cortisol is lower, you just may get leaner here. You may just get leaner in your whole body. Who knows? So it's definitely something we see, and it works. Believe me, it does. So something we try to implement with clients. We do it at night. We try to do all our mind relief at night. We call it downloading on paper. And then in the morning, you read up back those things you need to solve, and you go from there. So journaling is a huge part of it. Protocols. We look at protocols, you know what I mean? Obviously, yeah, Keone is a great product. We've been trying to find nutraceuticals that help people relieve stress. People are saying less brain fog, less stress from having to take less protocols. Like that's another part that is important, is finding that balance. Sometimes we've had too many protocols with clients in the sense it's just stressful for them. So we've used that. We've used, Nitro is a great product for pain relief, cardiovascular health. We've been doing a lot of homeopathic remedies we've been using, which I find help clients change and move forward long after the product's in use. So finding the right protocols in there, and even when it talks to things like vitamins, people are like, oh, vitamins, come on. But guys, you know what? Our soil is changing. You can't just pick a fruit off the tree and expect to get all the nutrients that we used to get, 50 and 60 and 70 years ago. So sometimes, for some people, for a lot of people, we need to supplement certain things based on our chemistry and our DNA. And knowing that and understanding it and putting that in your system is better. I'll say it again, there's nothing, I don't think you can find a science paper yet that'll say you need Tylenol or ibuprofen to function on a daily basis, but some people believe that is true beyond something like, vitamin E, or beyond something like, a vitamin B or a mineral, like something like magnesium or whatever. Guys, our body does not function on ibuprofen. That is not a thing that fires all our systems. So really understanding that and starting to learn, this is another form that helps me heal. Whether it's your kids or not, if you're worried about your kids taking vitamins, you should be worried also about what's in things like the chips and the pop and the different things that they're eating in the dyes. They are far more dangerous than that. So that's another therapy anyway that we use that helps clients speed up and heal. And sometimes behavioral is even doing your meditating, doing your energy work. It's another form as well. So different forms will give you that balance, and based on who you are, you may just be doing behavioral, exercise and food. You may be doing food, therapy, and energy work. You may be just doing therapy for a while, but find that base is the best thing you can do. So that's kind of what stress-reduced fat loss is for us, using different solutions to the issues that you have and providing them so that your body can get back online and heal. Because if your system will heal, it definitely will change, no matter what age you are. Hope you guys enjoyed that. I'm going to get on to my day. Enjoy your Friday. Share it with your friends. If you have more questions about our stress-reduced fat loss system, visit beelite.ca to find out more, or you can actually DM at the bottom to send me more questions on any of the products or things that I talked about today, or why I spoke about them, or any of the questions here. Have a great day, guys. I'm kind of in the camera, and I'll see you guys back on Monday.